The other team, why it's 6 teams and not 8 teams that can come out of the Western Conference, is right behind them, and that's the Dallas Mavericks. What a weird season for them, right? I mean, going into the break, they had won 6 in a row. Coming out of the break, the wheels completely fall off. They go and get PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford. They spend a bunch of draft capital on it. And then all of a sudden, Daniel Gafford's out of the rotation. Then he's back in, but he's only playing sparingly. Here's the point I want to hit on. Luka's just set a pretty impressive individual record. He's the first player in NBA history with 6 straight 30-point triple doubles, right? Passes Russ. They were only 3-3 over that stretch, though. And this is something that we've discussed before the genesis of Beyond the Arc. Can they win with Luka putting up these like fantasy cartoonish numbers, looking amazing individually, but it hasn't really translated so far to super team success?
No.
I don't think this team wins until they stop trying to cheat the system in building around Luka. And what I mean by that is they just see, and I get it because Luka has been with the organization for X amount of years. He's probably impatient. He wants to win. He hasn't seen much success as a winner in this league as some of his counterparts have, right? But they keep just throwing random ingredients into the pot and hoping it comes out tasting well and everybody wants more. And that's not how you build a team. First it's KP, then it's Kyrie. Kyrie and Luka can't figure out how to play together, but then you try to fill them in with a bunch of pieces that you either don't use or they don't work. I just don't know what the end goal is for this Mavericks team while they have Luka, because I don't know how much longer he's going to have the patience for them to figure it out because they've been unable to do it. It's not that Luka's not talented. It's that he has to be surrounded by a particular group of guys, and they've been unable to do that for one reason or another. So until that happens, the Dallas Mavericks will always be a team that's in the playoffs. They're always going to be a team that wins games and brings eyes, and people want to know what they're doing. Luka's there, and I just don't know if they'll ever take that next jump into that next tier until you figure out the correct way to build around Luka. And that's going to take time. Now, if Luka's willing to give you that time at this stage in his career because of how many times you've screwed that up, that's a different conversation. But they got to stop trying to cut corners to make this work. It's not working the way they're doing it. It's just not.
All right. 2 things that they're going to seem a little off, but this is a view around the NBA. Well, one's a view, one's a fact. There is a view that maybe the problem is Luka Doncic. And there are ample numbers of GMs that I have talked to. And John, I know you and I have discussed this, and Ash, I think you and I have too. Ample numbers of GMs. And I'm talking smart guys, not necessarily people that get fired every other year, who will tell you in private that you cannot win with Luka Doncic. That his usage rate, how his pace of play, his defensive liabilities, and his particular way of playing, there's a lot of skepticism in the NBA that you can build a championship winner around this guy. And none of these people are doubting his massive excellence. The guy's obviously super talented. You pair that with the fact, whatever you think of Kyrie Irving, the reality is if you get into the numbers since he left Cleveland, in almost every stop that he's been, in almost every incarnation, he has been a net negative for his teams. If you look at and there's big sample size because of time that he's missed. When you look at him in Boston, when you look at him in Brooklyn, when you look at him before this year in Dallas, his teams literally had better records when he did not play than when he did play. Now, I know that there's more to it than that he's so talented in the playoffs. You want a guy that can go out there and win games and raise the ceiling. All of that's true. But I think part of the problem, John, is you have a Luka Doncic, a guy that's been out of the postseason one time. And I know that he made a conference finals, but the Jalen Brunson part of that is we all see it a lot differently than we did back then. Yeah, huge. And if I remember right, Luka missed some time in that series early in that playoff run, and Jalen filled in. You sort of saw that superstardom. So he did have a second superstar. And I think, look, it's a cliche, but it's a cliche based in historical fact. Kyrie Irving is talented, but outside of that one time with LeBron, he was awesome in that finals, especially that last shot. Kyrie Irving's been a net negative for the teams that he's played for, literally by record.
It's a problem for those two defensively, right? I mean, offensively, they are super dynamic. They can go thermonuclear, overnight.
As individuals.
Offensively together too, they've been really good this season. The problem is, especially when you're talking about perimeter defense, I don't think that you can be a good perimeter defensive team with those two guys together. I mean, even if you're staggering them, you got serious issues. I mean, I've talked to you guys about this, the win where the Sixers last week beat the Mavs on their own floor. I mean, Luka got, and that's a terrible Sixers team right now. Believe me, Luka got lost offensively so many times it was actually embarrassing. Now nobody was talking about it because he's putting up 30-point triple doubles, and it's really amazing what he's doing offensively. But defensively, it's a problem, which is another reason why I don't think that they're getting out